Congress delegates, we are finally here. Welcome to the first official and fully compliant DASO Congress. Whilst it has been a long, challenging, and often lonely journey, it has certainly been a worthwhile one. It is easy to forget where we have come from and take for granted the work that has been done to get us where we are today. My fellow Democrats, there was a time back when I founded DASO at the Nelson Mandela University, when DASO did not exist as a national organization. It was a branch of the DA Youth without any leadership of its own or representation to higher structures. DASO existed on less than 10 campuses. Today, we have activists on 127 campuses and have constituted 55 valid branches in the run-up to this Congress. This sitting of our Congress brings to fruition 7 years of work, which has included the drafting, certification, and adoption of DASO rules, FLC rulings and re-rulings, 2 national steering committees, 3 attempted Congress processes, and a host of successes, victories, and defeats in between. I've often been asked, why have I been in this position for as long as I have? Why risk my legacy as the first SRC president in the Eastern Cape and the first DASO constituency head, having led DASO to historic victories at Nelson Mandela University, the University of Fort Hare, and many TVET college campuses in the Eastern Cape? Having witnessed firsthand individuals who have used ancillary organizations as stepping stones for their own political careers, only to abandon them. Having had the experience of being left to gather the pieces in the face of some who would prefer to see ancillary organizations confined to the dustbin of the DA's history, I pledge to see the mandates bestowed upon us successfully fulfilled, no matter what, no matter how long it takes. In 2015, all DASO chairpersons gathered in Johannesburg and elected a team to lead DASO, to finalize its rules and deliver a federal Congress. That team included Nazli Sharif, Sam Bainan, Hlaganani Gumbi, and myself as the leader. In 2017, all DASO chairpersons gathered again in Johannesburg and renewed that mandate. In my 14 years in the DA, I have never grappled with a more challenging task, and I would like to recognize and appreciate the efforts and sacrifices made by the team that was elected, without which we wouldn't be here today. I would also like to recognize the efforts of those that came in to assist on the second steering committee, as well as the Deputy Chairperson of Federal Council, Thomas Walters, who has been a tireless ally to ancillary organizations over the last decade. The first hurdle was getting the rules of an organization as complex as DASO drafted and certified by the FLC and adopted by Federal Council. The current rules went through over 40 drafts and 3 FLC panels before its adoption in 2018. The next hurdle was an FLC ruling that stated that for a member of DASO to be legitimate, they must also be a DA member. And with a stroke of a pen, 75% of DASO members lost their membership. You can imagine the chaos. SRC members, presidents even, disenfranchised. Our structures were in uproar and decided that we cannot entertain attempting a Congress in 2018 with 3/4 of our members disenfranchised. We were told that an FLC ruling cannot be appealed. It can only be taken on judicial review. This would entail DASO taking the DA to court. Of course, this was never an option, and we insisted that the ruling was done without even consulting those who drafted the rules. Therefore, the ruling was invalid, null and void to begin with. In December 2018, the former chairperson of Federal Council, James Self, wrote to inform us that indeed the ruling was irregular and should never have been done in the manner it was done. Justice prevailed, and the process was started from afresh with a new FLC panel that found indeed, in terms of our rules, DASO members are not compelled to be DA members. I've noted that one of the proposed rule amendments that will be considered by Congress today is to make it a rule that all DASO members should be DA members. And I would like to strongly urge Congress to reject this proposal, as DASO is that stone in the middle of the pond that many young people need to step on before jumping over to the DA. Before you become a member of the DA, you are just a student on campus looking for a student organization that will champion your challenges. Finally, in attempting to put together branches in compliance with all of the requirements set for a DASO Congress, the 2019 attempt failed due to a requirement which we opposed, that all students must produce a certified proof of registration when attending an AGM. 69 branches were eligible for AGMs in 2019. Of the 63 of them that sat, none of them were deemed valid. And this further reinforced our view that the proof of registration requirement was an unreasonable hurdle, and we sought a federal executive decision to do away with it. COVID-19 and the subsequent lockdowns saw our 2020 Congress attempt dead in the water, and the 2021 municipal elections ruined the attempts made last year. These delays, my fellow Democrats, have hurt our organization, as DASO required a new leadership with a fresh mandate as far back as 2018, which incidentally was the year that DASO peaked under the excellent work done by the DASO leadership. In 2018, DASO ran its annual Sakingomso campaign on as many as 174 campuses, with the national DASO leadership having secured over 300,000 Rand of Sakingomso funding, 1.3 million Rand of SRC by-election funding, in addition to a national DASO campaigns budget of over R500,000 Rand. DASO governed 3 universities, 12 TVET colleges, and canvassed close to 17,000 votes in the lead up to the 2019 general elections. The challenge of the new DASO leadership elected today is to get our organization back to our peak of 2018 and find a way to surpass it so that we can return to the trajectory of dominance that we once enjoyed. It will not be easy, and it will require reminding ourselves of why we do what we do. Now, my father may not have had much growing up, but he toiled so that my siblings and I can get a better shot than he had. He put himself through medical school, selling stationery and baby formula. And because of the education that he was able to access, the doors of opportunity were opened for me. And this is why I have dedicated my entire life to fight for every South African to have the opportunity to access a higher education irrespective of the circumstances of their birth, and to have the necessary tools to succeed. This is what no student left behind means. Imagine a country where learners can access world-class institutions of higher learning or vocational training based on their talent and hard work, rather than the wealth of their families. Imagine that student has the necessary transport, accommodation, textbooks, devices, and the environment to thrive and compete with anyone worldwide. Imagine graduating into an economy where the skills and knowledge of our graduates can find expression. We can achieve this, not only by returning to our trajectory of dominance on campuses, but by playing our part in changing the government in 2024. There are close to 2 million students at the 358 public campuses across South Africa. DASO can and must play a historic role in toppling the ANC and ushering a DA government that will ensure that indeed no student is ever left behind.